Picture this. You're driving to work, coffee in hand, scanning your phone, when a friend's text pops up. It's a simple, "Hi," but suddenly your blood boils. Without warning, your fist slams the steering wheel. You wonder, what just happened? The morning was calm, yet something inside exploded. That, my friend, is your shadow at work. Did that sound familiar or shocking? If this resonates, drop a comment below. Let's dive in. Have you ever felt like an unseen force is pulling the strings of your life? You walk through each day believing you are the one steering, but what if that's just an illusion? Psychology tells us that as much as 90% of our mind is hidden from view. Picture your mind as an iceberg, the conscious tip you see, and beneath the surface the massive unknown bulk. You might feel like the captain of your ship, but often it's the shadow beneath the waves pulling the oars. You are confident you have control. You believe every decision is yours. But what if that confidence is an illusion? In truth, a hidden part of you is nudging your thoughts, emotions, and actions without you noticing. Every choice you make is a dance between your conscious self and your shadow. And the more you deny that shadow, the stronger it becomes. Think of your shadow as a puppet master you never see. Every pressure you feel, every sudden burst of anger, comes from that unseen hand guiding you. It hides in everyday moments behind small frustrations and big breakdowns. If you feel a pang of fear when a memory surfaces or find your foot drifting off course when something scares you, that's your shadow nudging the wheel. Recognizing these moments is the first step to taking back the reins of your life. Origins of the shadow, childhood conditioning and repression. Where did this hidden puppet master come from? It sprouted in childhood, under the watchful eyes of family and society. We spent our early years learning a very clear lesson: conformity. Pleasure and acceptance were rewarded, and anything deemed wild or bad was punished. Whispered rules lurked in the corners. Be good, don't cry, hide your anger. So pieces of ourselves, our raw emotions and instincts, were banished to the shadows to avoid criticism or pain. Society added its own brushstrokes. Fairy tales and cartoons paint pictures of perfect princes and princesses, never showing the messy anger or raw grief beneath. If you felt envy when a sibling was praised or fierce pride when someone applauded your talent, you might have heard whispers, "Be humble," or "Don't be jealous," and shoved those feelings aside. Each "should" and "shouldn't" was like erasing a part of yourself from the canvas, and those parts retreated even deeper. Think of it this way. Every quiet we obeyed was like a brick in a wall separating our conscious self from our shadow. When someone warned us, "Don't embarrass us," or "Don't make a scene," a part of our authentic voice was buried alive. Those buried feelings didn't disappear. They lurked and festered. Each forbidden feeling, anger, sadness, desire, grew potent in the dark, waiting for a chance to break free. Reflect on your own childhood. What feelings did you smother to avoid trouble? Were you praised for being good when you bottled up your fears or anger? Share in the comments a memory where you felt forced to hide a piece of yourself as a kid. What feelings did you believe were forbidden or wrong? The cost of repression, projection, sabotage, and relational cycles. Suppressing the shadow doesn't make it disappear, it makes it louder. Every time we hide a part of ourselves, we feed the ego's blind spots. The first sign is projection. We accuse others of the very traits we deny in ourselves. Are you ever irked by someone else's jealousy or arrogance? That annoyed voice might actually be your own. For every fault you point at the world, the shadow returns the favor. It creates an illusion that the problem is out there, but really it's trapped inside you. For example, think of a colleague who constantly accuses others of selfishness. Chances are, deep down, they are struggling with guilt over their own selfish urges. Or someone who labels everyone dishonest might be running from the dishonesty they hide in themselves. These examples are not coincidences, but shadows in action. Denial is a heavy price to pay. Deep down, the shadow undermines your goals. You might find yourself self-sabotaging when things go too well. Have you ever celebrated one step forward by unconsciously taking 2 steps back? That's your shadow shoving you off the path to protect its secrecy. It whispers fears of "you're not worthy" or "you'll fail if you try." When you believe these lies, you stop yourself from reaching higher heights. Amazing opportunities pass by because a hidden fear held the reins. This darkness seeps into relationships too. The people who challenge or hurt you may be acting out what you refuse to face. You may fall into destructive cycles, attracting partners who mirror your hidden insecurities, or clashing repeatedly with the same types of people. Like an actor playing a role, the shadow scripts your most intimate dramas. It's as if each argument or heartbreak rewinds a familiar scene. Think of a time you blamed someone else for something, only to realize the fault was yours all along. Was that shadow pulling the strings? If any of these patterns resonate, share your experience below. Understanding the cost of hiding your shadow is the first step to breaking its spell. The cost of repression, projection, sabotage, and relational cycles. Suppressing the shadow doesn't make it disappear, it makes it louder. Every time we hide a part of ourselves, we feed the ego's blind spots. The first sign is projection. We accuse others of the very traits we deny in ourselves. Are you ever irked by someone else's jealousy or arrogance? That annoyed voice might actually be your own. For every fault you point at the world, the shadow returns the favor. It creates an illusion that the problem is out there, but really it's trapped inside you. For example, think of a colleague who constantly accuses others of selfishness. Chances are, deep down, they are struggling with guilt over their own selfish urges. Or someone who labels everyone dishonest might be running from the dishonesty they hide in themselves. These examples are not coincidences, but shadows in action. Denial is a heavy price to pay. Deep down, the shadow undermines your goals. You might find yourself self-sabotaging when things go too well. Have you ever celebrated one step forward by unconsciously taking 2 steps back? That's your shadow shoving you off the path to protect its secrecy. It whispers fears of "you're not worthy" or "you'll fail if you try." When you believe these lies, you stop yourself from reaching higher heights. Amazing opportunities pass by because a hidden fear held the reins. This darkness seeps into relationships too. The people who challenge or hurt you may be acting out what you refuse to face. You may fall into destructive cycles, attracting partners who mirror your hidden insecurities, or clashing repeatedly with the same types of people. Like an actor playing a role, the shadow scripts your most intimate dramas. It's as if each argument or heartbreak rewinds a familiar scene. Think of a time you blamed someone else for something, only to realize the fault was yours all along. Was that shadow pulling the strings? If any of these patterns resonate, share your experience below. Understanding the cost of hiding your shadow is the first step to breaking its spell. The consequences of ignorance. When the shadow erupts. What happens if you keep that shadow locked away? Ignorance fans the flames of chaos. Think of a dam holding back a river. If the cracks in the dam are ignored, eventually the pressure builds and the dam bursts. In the mind, each suppressed fear and rage is like water piling up. If you never address it, one day the dam will break. When it does, the flood that pours out can sweep away everything you've built. This eruption can take many forms. It might be a sudden, blinding rage that astonishes even you. It could be a breakdown, a panic attack, or a depressive episode, when all the darkness crashes into your consciousness at once. It might even show up as obsessive behavior, addiction, or a road accident caused by a momentary lapse of awareness. The common thread is this: the more you ignore the shadow, the more violently it demands your attention. Imagine trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can keep it under for a while, but eventually your arms will tire and it will shoot out. That's what the shadow does. A calm person might suddenly lash out. A sensible person might suddenly do something reckless. All the bottled up feelings explode in one unfocused blast. By now you might recall times in your own life that fit this pattern. Maybe a small insult made you lose your temper, or a long latent fear suddenly overwhelmed you. Those were glimpses of your shadow breaking free. If you've ever wondered, Why did I do that? Why now? The answer lies in the ignored darkness. The good news? The explosion is a wake-up call. It means your shadow has been acknowledged on some level. But wouldn't it be better to see it coming and tame it, rather than be caught in the flood? Share below if you've ever experienced such a moment. Recognizing the consequences is painful, but it's also the turning point where real change can begin. Path to integration, embracing and channeling your shadow. Fear not. This monster in the dark can be tamed and transformed. The path to integration is about bringing light to the darkness. It starts with simple awareness. When you catch yourself projecting, pause. When you feel an unexpected rush of emotion, anger, envy, shame, look inward. Name it without judgment. I feel anger. That's the first step. Acknowledge, without flinching, that the shadow is speaking. Next, create space for honest self-reflection. Journaling can help. Write a letter to the parts of you never let surface. Describe a recent argument or strong reaction, then ask, what was really behind it? Often the shadow communicates through stories and symbols. Revisit dreams, track patterns, talk to a trusted friend or therapist about what you see. The key is curiosity, not blame. Approach your hidden self with compassion. Instead of saying, why am I so angry? Ask, what is this anger trying to tell me? Engage the shadow constructively. If you feel aggressive energy, channel it into something positive. Vigorous exercise, martial arts, or painting. If you feel sadness or pain, allow yourself to cry, create a song, or confide in someone. Creativity is a bridge between conscious and unconscious. Give your shadow a voice through art or writing. Another powerful method is active imagination. Visualize the shadow as a character and have a dialogue. What does it want? What does it fear? Jung suggested this can reveal hidden truths. For example, picture your shadow as a frightened child or a wild animal and listen to its story. This may sound strange, but it turns your fear into understanding. Also remember, you don't have to face the shadow alone. Therapists and counselors can act like experienced guides, giving you tools and support as you explore difficult emotions. There are also books and workshops on shadow integration that offer exercises and meditations to help. Be patient with yourself. Each time you face a hidden fear or admit a dark thought, you chip away at the shadow's power. Over time, you'll notice freedom seeping into your life. Conflicts might resolve faster, your creativity can blossom, and you might even feel a newfound courage in everyday challenges. This is the shadow transforming into your inner strength. Slowly, you'll start to reclaim the power hidden in the shadows. The qualities you once denied, courage that felt like recklessness, confidence that felt like arrogance, drive that felt like greed, can be repurposed as strengths. The shadow's energy becomes fuel for your goals rather than gasoline on your fears. This journey isn't quick, but it's transformative. Each time you face a hidden fear, the shadow grows smaller. Each time you express a repressed talent, you grow stronger. Remember, even darkness can teach. What step will you take today to face your shadow? Let us know in the comments how you plan to begin or share a technique that's worked for you. Final call to action: facing the darkness to find the light. You've ventured deep into the hidden chambers of your mind. Now, with the lid of truth open, an empowering transformation awaits. This journey isn't about defeating yourself, it's about becoming whole. Remember, even the darkest shadow holds the potential for great light once it's understood. The power and freedom that come from integration are yours for the taking. What will you do with this new awareness? Will you continue to let fear dictate your choices, or will you become the master of your destiny by embracing your full self? The choice is yours. Now, I invite you to be brave. Step out of the darkness and into your true power. If this exploration resonated with you, share what stood out. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway, or tell us a time when you caught a glimpse of your shadow. Let's start a conversation. If you felt this was eye-opening, Hit like and consider subscribing so you don't miss future deep dives like this. And as always, keep questioning, keep exploring, and don't let the unseen rules of your past define who you can become. If this journey spoke to you, hit like, subscribe, and share so others can find their own light. Neuromystique is dedicated to exploring these hidden depths with you every step of the way. Stand in the light, face the shadow, transform your life.